Well, I'd like to say good morning, but we've got no Australian today. So we've got the Dutch Wonder team here available. So coaching stations, Friday chat on Boxing Day session. Hope you guys had a good Christmas. Good Christmas.
It's brilliant.
Definitely.
Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. So Friday chat, the three subjects that we're going to try to address today. One, the Asian Champions Trophy that just got finished, and fantastic victory of Korea with Tribaal players. So we'll have to mention that.
I saw what you did there, Charlie. I saw what you did.
Okay, yeah, I did. No shame. Second subject is the impact of the lockdown on Dutch hockey at all levels. So, and then we might be able to have 5 minutes on hockey for the handicapped towards the end of the session. But that's a very good subject as well. So we've got new participants today. So we haven't got our Australian friends. Michael has some medical issues he's got to deal with, so he's not available. And Anthony is probably dealing with a fallen tree somewhere near Sydney or in Sydney. So he is. We get some pictures and everything where he's on with his helmet and his chainsaw clearing the streets of Sydney. So he's very busy at the moment. So we'll let them play with their toys and have the conversation ourselves. So the first one, Asian. Oh no, let's not go for the question. Guy, introduce yourselves, the new guys.
Yeah, of course. My name's Björn van der Dussen. I'm working at Weesp at the moment. I've been working for Pinochet, ladies and gents first. I've been working with Rijgers at the highest level indoors. And today, Ollie introduced me and asked me to join the conversation. So I was very pleased to do so.
Excellent.
So,
fantastic.
having me.
And then we've got.
Turn the screen a little bit. We've also got Toby.
Yes, my name is Tobias van Mierlo, and I'm training the lower teams of MAV Maarsen and the G Hockey, the team with disabled people at the Mira.
Fantastic. Okay.
We play like the highest level in the region.
Great. But that's exactly the kind of subject for coaching stations. So we'll have a couple of minutes, 5 minutes if you want later on. But that's a great subject. So first subject, Asian Champions Trophy. So for me, a fantastic edition. Games were actually quite enjoyable to watch to some extent. The lack of perfection was sometimes very interesting. Fantastic outcome because Tribaal players, Korea with some of the Tribaal players won. So again, some placement. There we are, brand placement for Tribaal. So good, but they've been quite some reaction from a lot of coaches. So interested to hear your views on that competition. Go for it. We can't hear you, Oliver.
I'm sorry. It didn't look like the India from the Olympics. Their fitness didn't look up to the same level. Their technical skills didn't look up to the same level. But in terms of competition, it seems very close together.
Okay, Joost, can you center the camera on Oliver, because the sound is not great. Fantastic realization.
Okay.
That's high production, guys. Here.
It was a very enjoyable competition to watch. The level was somewhat lacking. I don't think the fitness level of India or Pakistan in that third, fourth place was particularly high. But the flip side was every team was competitive. Pretty much all of the top four could win from each other. So from that perspective, it was an enjoyable competition to watch. But if you're an Indian supporter or an Indian coach, would you be happy with that performance? You come third in the Olympics and you're not doing too well in the Asian Champions Trophy? Probably not. Pakistan would expect to do better. Korea, very good performance. So I think there's some positives to take away from some of the nations you'd expect not to do as well. but the bigger nations that was a little bit of a wake-up call, maybe.
Because the big thing is for India, it was kind of the next thing after that exploit, that medal. But for the rest of them, it was the first big tournament since COVID, basically. Because no Olympics for Korea. Japan had Olympics, sorry, but no Olympics for Pakistan and Korea. So yeah, interesting to see them again.
Yeah. For me, there was two things. I saw Pakistan play the Dutch men's team in the Olympic qualifiers, and was really enjoyed it again. Pakistan getting back on the old level and playing really nice hockey, and then seeing now at the tournament a little bit disappointed. As also with India, for me the biggest disappointment was the outcome that Malaysia wasn't there because of Corona. I was looking forward to Malaysia because their Junior World Cup was being. I enjoyed watching their Junior World Cup team and been a fan of Malaysia last couple of years. So for me, that was a big disappointment, them not joining. But the way Korea came back and won a shutouts was a great final, I think, for everyone to watch. And I thought, yeah, what Ollie said as well, that the level was good. There was a lot of basic mistakes and a lot of things going wrong for all the teams, but enjoyable. Love to watch it. So.
Yeah, a lot of goals, yeah. But that's the funny thing is for Korea didn't win except the final. They didn't even actually during the playtime. They didn't win. They didn't win any game. They didn't lose any game, but they didn't win any game. The only victory they had was in the final. No, they had the semi-final as well, but during the pool game, they didn't win a single game.
Technically, did they win the final because it was on shootouts? So the game time they didn't win.
Indeed, yeah.
Would you say that actually makes a mockery of the tournament? Maybe the fact that a team can win the competition without winning a game properly.
You're a little bit German factor with Germany in there.
It's an interesting way to phrase it. I mean, obviously the tournament's based on if you qualify for the top four, you get straight into the semi-finals. But should you have to win more games to get there?
There were a lot of goals, though. A lot of goals.
That means a lot of goals against as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, good question to ask. Maybe Joost.
Yes,
go for it. Joost.
I think maybe it was the Tribaal stick, of course.
Come on, tell us more.
I think the quality of the brand Tribaal is amazing.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah, sorry to say that. I can imagine that the Korean people get more energy because of really nice hockey sticks.
You think with identity?
What is identity?
The thing on your.
You mean my screen?
Yeah, that one. You think that would have made a difference?
I think they make more wins, but Tribaal was good enough.
Okay, good. No issues. Do you think they would have got the right molds and all those things?
I think the molds were great.
Okay, good. Perfect. And in terms of coaching, because we saw some changes. So we had a new coach for Japan, new coach for Pakistan. Teams that didn't speak very good English. I mean, Korean coaches, Japanese coaches didn't speak much English.
They don't need to if their team speaks the language, though.
At an international level?
The only issue I would have there is if the Pakistani team doesn't speak good English, because they'd have to speak it with Siegfried. If the Korean coach speaks Korean, then the Korean team speaking Korean is not an issue.
Fair enough. Absolutely. But that's one thing. It's the Pakistani players don't speak English that much. I think that's a bit troubling in a way.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a big task in his hand. Can he get Pakistan back to the level they were at traditionally? Or
20 years ago.
Or are they going to continue to be in the second tier of international hockey?
So yeah, so what's the level Pakistan? Pakistan was the top country in 2012. They were in
And
London.
if we're really honest, that final, being brutally honest, they could barely trap a ball. If they strung 3 or 4 passes together, it was well done from both teams. So if they need to improve that level if they really want to be taken seriously at a world level.
But that's absolutely true. They only started playing very well towards the end of the game. They almost came back. They almost came back towards India, but it's only in the last 10 minutes of the game because the rest of the game was technically pretty poor.
Entertaining, but technically poor.
Yeah, well, normally the technical part is the strong point of Pakistan.
Yeah, from both teams, also India. Usually their basic skills, basic level is really high, and the dribbling with the ball is incredible. I think we Dutchies can't even do it like that. So a little bit of jealousy there. But it seems to be with Pakistan the latest couple of years, they have really big highs, and then there's an incredibly low. For instance, if we look back at the games they played against the Netherlands for the Olympic qualifiers, the first game was incredible. A really good penalty corner. The intensity they played with was really, really good. And then the second game, they just couldn't put up that level. It was for us as Dutch, it's really good that we went to the Olympics, although we had a really disappointing Olympics. But yeah, I thought that was maybe a small comeback from Pakistan. So I was a little bit disappointed with that when I saw the Asian Games.
So since this is about coaching, what do you think? What's your view on the coaching side? Could have even been made different or better to address that problem? That problem, because are the players technically not good enough, or just not in the right state of mind?
In Pakistan's a huge question because it's gone wrong for many years. So you can't say that's down to just one coach. It's probably down to the level above the coach, who's in charge of who selects the coach, who's in charge of the whole program, and how can they develop a long-term vision rather than saying, oh, there's a tournament next week, how can we make sure we win that? It needs some long-term planning, investment, and letting coach who they trust try and get the best out of the planning, not just, oh, it's 3 months, you're out. It needs to be long-term.
And also the youth development has to be better, I think. Be more structure in their entire program, because I think there's going to be a lot of potential still in countries like Pakistan, India, but it starts with youth development. So if there's going to be a bigger structure, better structure there, I think the future is going to be bright for them as well. Because if you see the potential in Asia at the moment, if you see the Asia Games, with a little bit more structure, a little bit more, I think maybe the tournament was maybe in the wrong moment. A lot of teams also dealing with Corona issues, and so maybe that has to do something with their preparations. But yeah, I think Asia is going to be a bigger power in the world as well, and not as big as Europe at the moment, or Australia and New Zealand, but yeah, the potential's there. So I think for us as in hockey in general, it's going to be great if they step up again and come back to that level. So there's more competition going on at international level than that there is at the moment.
Because it's true that Pakistan, it's 80 million people population, 80 million people, and hockey is the number 2 sport, almost as popular as cricket. Cricket is a little bit above, but yeah, 80 million people, number 2 sport. You would expect quite a huge potential. When you see is Netherlands is at 12 million people, 18 million people, or what's the population? Something like that?
17, 18 million.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And it's 250,000 hockey players.
Maybe a little more now.
And you look at Belgium as well. So the top 2 nations in the world basically are, well, top 3 maybe, Netherlands, Belgium, and Australia. Australia, it's a couple of million people. How many people is that? Is that 10 million people in Australia, something like that?
At 18 as well.
18 as well. So they're relatively small countries, and they're the ones that managed to develop a hockey that is
It's the structure that's in place.
think so. Yeah.
They have a high performance program. They have feeder states or feeder regions, feeder clubs. I don't know if Pakistan has that properly set up. Judging by the fact they haven't done well for as part of 5-10 years, probably suggests they don't have that set up correctly.
Because India had a huge challenge where they had two federations at the point. And
Well, if we're going to speak about India, we need to get our experts in.
Yeah,
Who
definitely.
unfortunately aren't here tonight. We can't really comment on that accurately, but next time
Michael would be the
here, I'm sure have enough to say on that topic.
because the Indian team had half of the players that were new players or players that didn't play at the Olympics. So there was quite a task for Graham Reid.
I mean, obviously they have to blood new players, but you'd still expect them to perform at a high level.
All right.
I think a really good thing is that they didn't sack Graham Reid at the point that he didn't make the finals. So maybe they're looking a little bit further as well now.
Well, it's still a few weeks before he might get the message.
After Christmas, Graham, there you go.
New Year's present.
New Year's present. You never know.
There.
Yeah, hopefully not, because I think he's doing a really good job there, and let's hope he can continue that into the new years and into the new tournaments coming up.
Perfect. Excellent. Yours, Toby, anything to add to that?
No.
Okay. Right, so the next question. So no transition. Hockey in the Netherlands. So during the first part of the pandemic, Netherlands been maybe the only country that's been able to maintain its hockey activity. No hockey in Belgium, no hockey in France, and Netherlands kept playing. At least the elite league kept playing.
Yeah,
So
they're still
Hoofdklasse?
playing. They're still playing. Yeah, Hoofdklasse is still playing. They cancelled the rest at the moment, so a lot of spare time for us as well. So it's always good to get some time in and recap on everything you'll be doing. But it's an unfortunate situation where we're in. I think it's a good sign that our government is starting to address the stuff properly and just be in front of the situation instead of reacting to every problem. But it's unfortunate because I, for myself, I'm a really big indoor lover, and I'm really disappointed that I only got to play one weekend with my team. But yeah, for me, it's not only for me, I think for a lot of. But it's good that the Hoofdklasse is playing. But yeah, you're not able to watch except for online, so there's not a lot of.
So what are the plans at the moment? Where are they at? For example, just an example of the UK. In the UK, for the Premier League, the Premier, yes, what they had is they had kind of they have 11 teams. So that's the weird thing. The Premier Division has 11 teams. They all played. They all played 10 games. And the idea was to have one game with each team, so 10 games, and then do the top 6 and I think it's top 6 and bottom 5. So, but they don't know yet. There's no schedule for playing those top 6 and bottom 5. But all the 10 games have been played.
We've got different scenarios here in the Netherlands where if you play the first half of the season and the second half doesn't continue, the results from the first half stands. After that, it's based on averages. So for the lower levels, you've got some coverage. For the higher levels, because they're dubbed top sporters, we can debate that as much as you like, especially with indoor hockey. An interesting debate over that. Maybe a nice topic for another time. But because they're top sporters, they continue to play.
So where are they at in Hoofdklasse at the moment? How much have they played of the expected?
They've played every game so far.
Everything's gone ahead. Indoors going ahead. Nothing's been affected. They can't have people watching the games, but apart from that, business as usual.
Okay.
They're able to train now as well after 5 instead of the start of the season of the Hoofdklasse indoor. The Hoofdklasse teams were able to practice after 5, and there was a couple of teams that weren't able to practice at all. So or just in the morning from 6:30 till 8. And they've leveled the competition now, so which is more fair to, for instance, Hutton and the clubs weren't able to. So they're all now in the top sport class, and they all on the same level now. So I think that's a good sign.
And not too many
Yeah.
cases because Premier League in football has been devastated by.
Documented. So we can't comment on that. It's not well documented. Privacy, everything. There are almost certainly cases, but not as well documented.
We can't hear you, Oliver.
It's not well documented.
Oh, okay. So you think it's happening, but they're just trying to make sure it doesn't
There's
trouble so much.
15,000 cases a day, so it would surprise me if it hasn't happened at least once.
Okay, 15,000. What are you guys doing? France and UK are above 100,000. Come on, get to work, people. Get to work. Okay.
Smiling.
Right. Well, that's it.
10 seconds of smiling.
I think we've just given you an impression of what we're doing here in the Netherlands.
Okay, that's an option. that's an yeah. Take two. Yes,
Keeps
take
us strong.
two.
Keeps us warm inside. So.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, shall we have a quick chat about Toby activity then?
Yeah, it's Toby's time to shine.
Disable hockey. So I've got a friend. So what happens? What happened in France is the federation has been saying, guys, we'll help you to develop disabled hockey for disabled people, and only 2 clubs I think really put programs in place. And they got a lot of money. The people really enjoy it. We can see passionate people, passionate players, really committed to the game. It's a tough job for the coaches, but coaches that at the end love the effort that they've made. So extremely rewarding. So maybe you can share how it's happened, how you got there, and what's happening in the Netherlands.
In Holland, it started with like a mother, her son has a disability, but he wanted to play hockey, but there was no team for him. So she started with some friends of him who also had a disability, and they started playing hockey. And there were like other people that saw that and also had children who had disabilities. And so it was growing, and now you have not many clubs, but I think maybe 30, 40 teams in clubs in Holland. We have all G hockey, we call it. Like,
so there's about 30 to 40 teams in the Netherlands.
No, clubs. I do it at Mira in Amstelveen. We have like 5 G hockey teams with 50 to 60 disabled people training every Saturday for 1 hour.
That's fantastic.
Yes. And we also have different levels. So we have the G1, they play the highest level in the region. They play 8 versus 8. And you have also the G2, 3 and 4, they play a little bit lower. They play 6 versus 6. So they play once a month or once in 2 weeks a game against other clubs. So they have a real competition.
Yeah, because in France they play like every 3 weeks or something like this. It's not really every weekend. It's just, you need people to look after the whole organization, and there's just not always possible. So, but I know that some of the kids make a lot of effort, like spending 45 minutes, an hour on their bike to get to training, for example. To get
we have also like people who live like I think 30, 40 minutes driving from our hockey club, and they're going by car or by taxi and to train. And so and you really see that now it's like a winter break for them, and you really see they want to play hockey like the whole year, but they can do that, but they're really loving it.
That's great. How's the weather like at the moment? It's not so bad. It's not that cold in France and in the UK at the moment.
No, we it's freezing outside,
Okay.
But But they try for the G hockey to start like 3 weeks earlier than the other teams, because you see the kids really want to train, and it's like for us. We see many friends, but hockey, you see, it's like one moment in the week they see other people. Normally they are very alone, or they have not many friends. You see at the hockey field they find their friends.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, I think that's it for the time for today. What we'll do is this will be on the YouTube channel of Coaching Stations. We also got the website coachingstations.com. Oliver, anything to say about Mosquito, Tempest?
No, but if you want to buy
The sound just cut off. If you can say that again.
sorry, let me repeat that. If you want to buy a top quality hockey stick, which is a little bit better than what you're seeing in the picture underneath there from Tribaal, then I can recommend Mosquito or Tempest. But if you want something a little bit cheaper, then maybe Tribaal.
Yeah, it's cheaper and better than Tribaal.
Have Mosquito. You have Mosquito or Tempest, and you think, let's bring it to the next step. Identity hockey.
Okay, identity with the right mold.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I see all these sticks, but do you have any like sweatshirts as well? Because I think Killer Gear needs to be with the stick as well.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we do. We've got bags.
You want to order sweatshirts, Charlie? Best price, best delivery, best customer service. Hook me up. Oh, I recognize those bags. Oh, I recognize those bags, Charlie.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic bags.
They are awesome. Best quality bags I've ever seen. Almost as good as my bags.
Yeah, almost. Almost as good as the Mosquito bags. No, fantastic.
Almost.
So, well, that's the great thing. Yeah, we just got a couple of minutes left. The great thing, for example, with Mosquito, we got an order. What was the order? The last order. They got the bags. They got the bag. It was 2 days shipping. They got it the next day. Really.
Fantastic.
Yeah, really good. Sent from the Netherlands, from Maastricht, and it did arrive the next day. So count on 2 days for France, I would say. But it got very quickly on time, and they loved it. So
it's
here we go.
So we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, buy our gear. That's how we you support the channel. Those fantastic videos, fantastic production, and we'll see you next time. That
Yeah,
was
definitely.
Friday chat
Thanks for having us.
Friday chat on Boxing Day. Have a good Christmas and Happy New Year.
You too. Thanks for having us. And have
Cheers,
a
Charlie. Till
have a
next
nice
time.
evening as well. See you next time.